All right. Thank you very much for joining us here at Next. I'm so thrilled to be presenting today. This is my third Next with Avalara, and looking forward to giving you a little information around our certification and support here at Avalara through our partner management group. As India indicated, I am Mark Wilhelm, Vice President of Global Partner Services. As part of that, the Avalara Partner Program for our technology partners, those partners that are integrating Avalara products and services into your application, is the focus of a couple of my teams. I'd like to do a brief introduction about those teams, what those teams bring to bear when you're engaging with us from a partner perspective. Then we'll launch into a little bit of information around how we are going to then work with our partners that are building integrations, and then wrap up today with some of the benefits and opportunities that partnering with Avalara and building integrations of Avalara solutions into your application will really provide you some opportunities and benefits for your organization, as well as your customer base. Starting off, I do manage two teams here at Avalara, our partner launch management and our partner launch services team. For those of you that have partnered with Avalara and have built integrations and gone through our certification program, you've probably worked with Bob Erdman on the launch services team or some of his team members, as well as Christian Shaw in the launch management. Bob and team focus on working with our technology and coaching our partners that are building integrations on best practices using Avalara APIs. They are the team that works with our partners and their integration specialists to certify the integrations based upon our comprehensive set of requirements. We also then leverage Christian's team to enable our partners to expand their features and functions once they've built in maybe sales tax, and then come back to us to build more features and functions. They help guide you through that process and make sure that you have a great experience, along with helping us launch these new partner-built integrations or connectors into our Avalara sales org. Part of what we do is own and manage the technology partner integration track. And we also are serving as the voice of the partner, so that as we are engaging with partners who are building integrations and leveraging our technology to solve tax compliance issues, what we then have is we act as the voice of the partner, going back to our engineering teams, our product teams, our sales or support teams, and act as the voice of the partner and make sure that your asks, your needs, and your requirements are being met from an Avalara perspective. With that said, why certify? The key component here is we have built a certification program, and we've been doing this for 10 plus years. And we built this certification program because we want consistent tax compliance. We want to make sure that we have all of the features, functions, and the requirements to make sure that as your users are engaging with their selling and their different transactional activities as they go to market with their products and services, that they are getting consistent tax compliance, that they can rely on Avalara and our partners' applications to make sure that they are not exposing themselves to any audit risk or mitigating any of the potential for compliance discretionary activities. We also certify because we want a consistent user experience. And what we have found is many of our customers are leveraging multiple applications in their technology stack to go to market using an omni-channel approach. That can include integrations into ERPs, enterprise resource planning solutions. They may use e-commerce to electronically sell and market to their customer base. They may also leverage an order management system that will then take those inbound orders through e-commerce, fulfill and invoice them. They may also use point of sale in their brick and mortar stores. And we want certification because we want a consistent user experience whether they're using one or multiple applications to get to their omni-channel go-to-market approach. We also want certification in there is that we can give you connector guidance. We can make sure that you are exposing the compliance features across all of the user applications. And again, having a consistent user experience that working with an Avalara solution in their ERP will consistently work the same way as when they engage with an Avalara solution built into their e-commerce application. So what does certification include? It's both technical and functional. When I say technical, we will have very specific technical requirements that are included in our integration guides. We are not doing a code review. We are not the experts in the application that you're working in, whether that be ERP, e-commerce, point of sale, order management, what have you. We're not doing a code review, but what we are engaging with you from the technology side and the technical requirements are how best to leverage our APIs, where and when to leverage those APIs, and making sure in the technical aspect that you're reaching out to us consistently. We also have a series of functionality requirements, specific pieces of functionality that relate to tax compliance that we want to make sure are included in the integration and are consistent with the ways that we do that within other applications. We also provide documentation, a consistent set of documents that talk about integrating, whether again, you're integrating with an e-commerce solution, an ERP solution, or any other transactional type of solution that needs calculation or compliance activities. And what drives these requirements? Tax compliance being first and foremost. We want to make sure that the integration that you're building of integrating an Avalara service or solution or a product for tax compliance is truly indeed compliant with the laws and regulations of each of the countries, states, or any of the other government agencies that have a transaction tax associated with them. Part of what also drives our requirements is the user experience that we wish to give. Having that consistent user experience regardless of what application they're using. And we also want to provide cross-functionality for other Avalara products or services. We want to make sure that if your end user not only needs calculation of, let's say, sales tax or VAT, they may also need document management for their exemption certificates. They might also need tax return generation and filing services. We want to make sure that the applications that are being integrated into those integrations are providing that cross-functionality. So regardless of your customer's tax compliance needs, Avalara and our partner through which we're doing this integration are able to provide that features and functionality. So a little bit into the tax compliance side of that. There are certain components that you're seeing listed here on the screen that are key pieces of information. And this is just a very small subset, but these are the key pieces of information that we are looking for. We want to make sure that our requirements are specifically calling out what these pieces of data are and making sure that we're consistently sourcing them from your application, making sure that the invoice date, the date that the end customer is going to see, as well as what is going to be recorded for compliance purposes, is accurate and consistent. We want to make sure that there are features around tax date, features around and in use of entity use codes, for example. And even when you see this one at the bottom called quantity, why would it matter if I include the quantity of the number of goods, the number of boxes is something that I'm selling? That is an important compliance aspect. It is something that we will use from an Avalara perspective to make sure that the calculation of tax and the determination of what that tax is consistent. So we include these compliance requirements to make sure that everything that is being processed from your application through the Avalara service gets a consistent tax compliance and a consistent tax treatment. We also have user experience. You'll see that there is a field called code. This is where we are asking you to identify the invoice number or the order number. You might see in our documentation that that is an optional field. We've considered it optional because we don't want to have that stop our ability to do a tax calculation. But having a consistent invoice number or order number that appears in Avalara tax compliance reports is something that is relatable and identifiable back to the source solution or the source document within your application. So we include that as a requirement. And then we also have the cross functionality, as I mentioned earlier. We want to be able to have the ability for an end customer to be able to use any one of Avalara's suite of products. I'm referencing here customer code. We want that customer code to be included in the tax request. And the reason that we want that is that customer code will be extremely important if our mutual end customer needs tax exemption certificate automation and management. Having that consistent customer code, which is the customer ID or the customer number within your application, will then provide the ability for our mutual customers to use more, in this case, our ECM, or what used to be called our cert capture solution. So we include all of these certification requirements to create a great experience, make sure it's tax compliant, and have cross functionality for all of Avalara's suite of products and services. Now, how is certification achieved? What we are doing is looking at the certification of a connector or an integration. First of all, we perform that at the version level. If you're using version 1.0 of your application, we will certify at that version. Let's say that 3 years later, you migrate and you move to version 2.0. You need a new integration because you fundamentally changed your application and a new integration needs to be built. We will then work with you to build, design, build, and then certify that new version of your application. Within that version certification, we are looking at and identifying the features and functions of the Avalara suite of services that you're building into your integration and into your application. And we document those by badges. Badges denote the type of functionality that's supported. And as an example here, you'll see a whole variety of badges. We've rolled out a whole new suite of certification requirements and certification features and functions. So you can see that we can do VAT calculation, sales tax calculation, document management, which will oftentimes be exemption certificate management. And we're getting into the e-invoicing space. And if you're using or building an embedded or Avalara included solution, we'll also have provisioning badges. Each of these badges has its own set of specific requirements, which we will then document as we go through the certification process. We will make sure that we're checking the box for each of these features and functions. And this is information that we catalog here at Avalara, so that when our mutual sales teams are going out to reach out to our customers about tax compliance needs, that we can then look at any specific integration, look at the specific version of that integration, and know each and every feature and function that is included because it's included in our catalog. And how do we document that? Well, we document that within our CRM. We leverage a tool, and what we do is we make available all of our certified integrations, that catalog of all of our applications, to our internal teams, our sales team, our support team, our marketing team. At a high level, anyone can go in and see the badges that have been awarded for any particular integration, again, at the version level. We will actually provide all of the detail if they need to go in and look to see, is there a specific feature? How is entity use code being passed to us? Where is the invoice number being sourced from? We will have all of that information cataloged and made available so that when your customers are either calling Avalara for support or needing to understand in a sales cycle, is this feature or function available for them to buy? We will have that information based upon the certified integration that you've built. And from there, we also then will build knowledge base articles and user documentation that will go out to the customers so that there is a complete set of information and a complete guide to how the integration was built and how the integration will work for that end customer. And in our internal documentation, we use a product or a user interface called Connector Force. And here's an example of the high-level list of badges that a particular version of an application might have. You'll see that there was a sales tax calculation. It includes address validation, document management, which is likely ECM certification. You'll also see that there is denotation that there are some features that were built in, but are not fully, were not built to the full requirements. They might have built a piece of that calculation or a piece of use tax calculation. We'll denote that there is some limited functionality. And this is especially important during a sales cycle because it will allow us to go out and tell the customer, we can support some of your VAT calculation. We'll be able to dig into the details, but we'll be able to then honestly and accurately represent what the end customer will experience when they engage in an integration built by our partner, integrating an Avalara product or service into their application. And so what are the benefits? Why would I want to go through this process as a developer, as an integrator, as an application provider? Well, part of this is what we have built over the 10 years that the 10 plus years that we have had this program and available to our partners is we've built on that 10 years of experience of learning our mistakes early on, or even as we understand different complications as we roll out new products and services. We provide a well-documented integration guide for our developers, our partners' developers, to use for self-service. You don't need to be on the phone with Avalara as you go through this. We have a very self-service guided approach to allow you to work on the times and the time zones, especially where your developers or where the integrators are working from. We will provide a lot more products to integrate as we roll out new features and functions or new solutions at Avalara. We then roll them into our integration program and our certification program and make sure that you have documented self-service guides for each of these new features. Part of the benefits of being a certified integration or a certified partner through this program is this allows us to solve tax compliance for everybody. We have democratized the ability to access tax compliance through a SaaS solution and through your solution. End customers can seamlessly connect tax compliance across their technology stack. So if you've built it into your ERP and they are using an e-commerce solution as well, if they are both certified, we all know that that experience that customer will have, regardless of what they include in their technology stack, will be available to them through these disparate integrations. It adds peace of mind for your end customers. And as one of the benefits, you get commissions off of these integrations on a recurring basis. And you get our marketing support to reach out to your customer base to broadcast that you have an Avalara certified integration. And that, again, it gets back to the peace of mind for your end customers. They don't have to worry about tax compliance. You've taken care of that for them. And then finally, what are the opportunities? There are opportunities for Avalara partners to grow their Avalara practice. Again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, we will co-market with you. We will co-brand tax compliance marketing so that you can reach out to your customers to alleviate their concerns and make sure that they know they have compliance solutions through your application. One of the other opportunities is You can embed an Avalara solution where you can make Avalara the de facto tax solution and engage Avalara directly to provision accounts, Avalara accounts for your end customers through our API suite. So again, making that tax compliance easier for your end customers. We have an Avalara Preferred Developer Program for our partners that have built integrations. If you also have a practice where you may want to customize or create custom solutions of customizing Avalara experience for your end customer and making that available to your customers, we can document you as a preferred developer. When we have a customer that raises their hand that indicates they need assistance in developing something custom or outside of the box, we will then be able to refer you as a preferred developer. We also, as one of my other teams, in addition to the launch services and launch management team, I have a partner success team. Part of that team is focusing on becoming a certified implementation partner. We will train and certify your consultants to implement Avalara, and you can offer that as a service offering to your customers. First of all, generating more revenue. You can then onboard and implement Avalara for your customers and offer that as one of the suite of solutions and services that you make available to your customer base. And finally, one of the other opportunities here is we will look forward to highlighting your Avalara experience at a future next event. We love having partners participate and present at our events. It allows you to talk about your experience, what worked well for you, what the benefits that you found, and really some of the expertise that you can bring to the table about what you would like to do and how you could make a better experience. So we would love to have you look to join us at another future next event and potentially present. And thank you again for being here with Next. If you do have any questions, please put those in chat and we will get back to you, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. And looking forward to seeing you at our next event.